Alright everyone, it's time for the Occult video 216, Wounds That Don't Heal. Specifically, it takes off, it's basically a part 2 of the video I made the other day on total love. Although it's not just related to that, like there are certainly other things you can be sad about. Yeah, guys, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm upset at the moment, you know. And with Aquarian emotion, it's difficult because then you just can't, fucking come off as emo because the Aquarian typically doesn't show emotion for any great length of time or at any significant level, and so it comes off as odd. It's jolting to people. What I would say is this: when you've suffered some sort of loss, bereavement, something negative that's, leaves a gaping hole in your life. I'll use myself as an anecdote. The one positive thing about that is that in order to distract yourself from it, it's like if you have an addictive personality, you'll fill that void with something. Now, I've quit smoking. I'm not a drinker, although I sort of fell off the wagon for a day there. Sorry about that. Well, 2 days, but I'm going to try again. It's difficult. Here's the thing, though. If you're not filling it with, addictive substances or something that destroy you, what else are you going to fill it with? Work, literally. Now, you may think that's a consolation. You see, like, again, using myself as an anecdote, when I feel, like, really, really upset, it makes me feel bodily cold and shaky. I just can't do anything. The only thing that helps is to distract myself. So I start plowing through my work. I make, I'll make more video ideas, I'll research more topics, I'll edit more books. That means a lot of money, a lot of extra attention, all sorts of positive things. You may think that that's a consolation, but I'll tell you what ends up happening is you start thinking to yourself that it's not a consolation. It's actually worse. It would be better if you were just like fucking smoking your brains out or something, or actually getting despondent enough to self-harm or something. I'll tell you why. Because then it compacts itself. Because in that negativity, all you can think of is the fact of, oh, well, years from now this is still going to hurt. That's going to suck. You're going to end up on your deathbed with stacks of money and nothing to show for it. That's another thing, a grave warning to people, filling the void in your life with that and becoming maybe more physically wealthy or powerful. That's wonderful. Power is great. Having wealth and financial stability is certainly a good thing. It helps to keep most of the minor problems at a minimum, and major problems it can help you compensate for them. This is wonderful. The problem is that if that's your goal in life, it's like, oh well, I want to be rich and powerful or something. There's going to come a day when you fall down with a heart attack and there's nobody there to call the ambulance, so to speak. Very sad. Now, if it involves love loss, it hurts the most. Like I've said before, love is far more dangerous than hate. It's like, here's the other problem. This is something I should have mentioned yesterday in my video. With hate or with negativity, it's a one-way street. Like, I can choose to hate someone, I feel negative, lash out if I really choose to, if I'm into that sort of thing, feel negative. But with the reverse, with positive feelings, it's a two-way street. You need the other person to be involved with that. That's way more dangerous than hate and negativity. And it can take the form of bereavement. Like, let's say a parent dies, a sibling dies, a close friend. Like, oh, this is my best friend in high school, gets macerated in a car crash or something. Yeah, that's gonna last quite some time. You see, the thing is, people without, I think, emotion. I don't think anyone is truly emotionless, but I think there are some people in this world that lack emotional depth. And I don't say that in necessarily a negative way, it's just the way that they were made. They can't really feel, I think, that form of pain, and they can't feel that form of love. So it's a double-edged sword. It's like they can't be hit with that kind of pain, not on a deep level. They can get over it a lot more easily. The scars over time disappear. At the same time, they can't feel that true attachment. In the case that it's a positive thing. Like, again, like you have a best friend, you have that connection with them, and they don't get macerated by a car. You just sort of hang out forever or something like that. You end up in the old folks' home together telling the same fucking stories and then, shitting your pants because you can't remember anything. Stop controlling your bowels. How sad it would be to end up old and on your deathbed and realize that there are things in your past that will never be solved, and you're going to have to feel all that emotion again, and you'll be totally alone. Yeah, that's some deep stuff. Not to be emo or anything like that. So yeah, ambition can definitely be driven. I think I already made a video on the topic of the fact that negativity, like transforming negative energy. In fact, I think I wrote a brief booklet on this, and I think I forgot. I think that was when I was definitely drunk at that point. It was a booklet on energy transformation, the idea of taking negativity and switching it around and using it to drive your ambition forward. It's easy enough to do. The problem is that eventually, a caveat to that is that eventually you realize, wow, that's almost a trap worse than alcohol or tobacco or getting stoned on weed or something like that, or having orgies. There are all sorts of vices that you can have. I think the worst one might be falling into the trap of becoming a total workaholic. And you end up again, you end up rich and famous or some shit like that, and then you don't have anyone to show for it or anything. It's a very, very strange subject. Emotion is a weird thing. If you haven't noticed, I've been delving more into that side of the occult, like the philosophy of emotion, the nature of being and things like that lately. They're beginning to take on a greater importance, as you go through life, and I guess you get older and you start thinking about that more than you're thinking about Loch Ness Monster, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, those of us who have more deep-seated emotions, good at hiding them, good at suppressing them, good at utilizing them for good purposes, but nonetheless are able to feel we're very vulnerable in that sense. Quite vulnerable. You just don't see it. I was talking to some people the other day about this topic, and they're like, they think when they see someone who's like, not just on YouTube, but like an e-celeb or something, someone who sort of gets it and has a big audience, there's this myth that they're more emotionally stable. Oh, trust me, the opposite is true, because the people who tend to have made it to that point, they're unstable people. That's why they're interesting. People love an unstable person. Do you think that I'm fucking emotionally stable? Hell no. I'm just not suicidal because, I'd rather make a large amount of money off my negativity. But that has limits. Yeah. I'm in pain. Sometimes you turn it into a joke, too, because, again, people are interested in that. It's like, why exactly am I here? What fucking point does life have? And the only thing is, well, I've got a lot of people that rely on me to supply them with news commentary and philosophy and occultism and stuff. I want to be strong literally for you, the viewer. That doesn't mean that things in my own personal life aren't fucked up at various times. Most of my life isn't, though. For the most part, it's good. Again, largely money related. When you have good cash flow, things go easier. But then there are things in my life that aren't so happy. Yeah, definitely. Believe it or not, yes, people with large audiences are totally mortal and fucked up. Trust me, I can tell you some stories. I won't because confidentiality. End up talking to other people that are major creators, and they're like, oh, yes, this is fucked, and that's fucked, this happened. You wouldn't believe it. Actually, it's way, way more dramatic and emotionally unstable than any, like, quote-unquote normal life. I always thought the same thing, like back, 5-6 years ago, nobody knows who I am, I'm a blip on the radar, basically. I was thinking that way too. I'm like, wow, these people really, they know what's going on, they've got it together, they're so stable and interesting. No, not really. I think that there's an inverse correlation, a strong tendency towards those of us who have sort of made it in that realm, being fucked up, being lunatics after a fashion. That's about all. Peace out.